But like these fundamental questions we're all concerned about have dogmatic answers if God doesn't exist. Like these questions we ask about meaning.
But I want to jump in there about God's existence. That comes up every class I teach, right? Every subject, every semester, not every individual session does that come up. But obviously everything relates to that, right? Everything relates to everything. That's the famous philosophy, line. So if you're philosophical, everything's relating to everything. But what I wanted to say about that is I would want to challenge the person who thinks there's no God, right? To prove to me that there isn't at some level. In other words, they think there's a highest good, right? Well, that's God. They think there's a truth, right? That's God. They think there's beauty that transcends, that's God. So they might not describe it as a personal being yet. In other words, they might have like a inadequate description of God, but those things are God. And so I would want to say, no, I think you do believe in God.
You just haven't gone up the ladder far enough.
I don't believe you that you don't believe in God. Right? If you think there's a truth in this conversation worth having.
But if I define God as the creator of the universe, I don't believe in that.
Okay. So then we have to go back to what do you believe in? What level of God you might say, or description, absolute truth, goodness. So I had a Chinese student, here's my example, came into a summer class. This 18-year-old Chinese sat in my class. One of my friends was a teacher at another university. He said, hey, can this student sit in your summer class? I said, sure. And this was probably the smartest student I've ever had. And she knew nothing about Catholicism from China, didn't even know what that was, right? But she believed in like an absolute justice, an absolute truth, an absolute goodness. She's transcendental. She believed that was part of the cosmos. She liked the idea of the Tao, right? The Lewis idea of the Tao, and of course her idea of her conception of that from whatever she got from her upbringing, which was not religious. And so I said, you do believe in God? And she said, okay, I see what you mean at that certain level. But I don't see how that's a person. And so that was the fundamental thing that I tried to argue with her. And to be honest, I didn't convince her, right? But to me, she's got that, and she realizes that being, right, with a capital B, she needs to respect. She needs to contemplate. It's the source of value, right? She might not think it created this world out of nothing, right? But she still is worshiping it in a certain way, and that's the right beginning point. Right? Because when you love something, you worship something, you want to know more and more about it. And I hope that if she continues with her will to love and respect and honor this, then she'll see, right, the truth or the cogency of some of the arguments that I or other people that she might have read come up with to say, wait, this truth, this goodness, right, this whatever is love, is so I have different avenues into that apologetically or philosophically. But I think that I would challenge the person who does believe in God, saying, okay, now that you got that God, but you don't believe in my creator out of nothing or my judge of the afterlife in the end, well, how are you going to live your life now with respect to that God? Are you going to treat it like it doesn't matter, right? Like it just sort of like is out there like Aristotle's supercomputer? Aristotle didn't treat the supercomputer like, oh, okay, I came up with it, now I don't have to pay attention to it. He said we should worship it, right? So he had the right attitude, right? Because that's the highest thing that there is in the universe.
Quick side note, in New York City, there is a Dominican church that has Aristotle in one of the stained glass windows with a green halo.
Wow.
Maybe a throwback to Dante's.
Yeah, maybe Dante, yeah.
Interesting.
If you like that clip, be sure to like and subscribe. Cheers.